Hi, Bill Colodzi here, starting a Shadows Over Innistrad draft. There's a few cards I like in this pack, the strongest ones being Obsessive Skinner, Ravenous Bloodseeker, its friend the Bloodmad Vampire. Dauntless Cathar is solid. I like Insolent Neonate, but these two vampires are better for that deck. And that's about it here. The power level drops off pretty quickly after that, although Eerie Interlude could be fun if you have a lot of enter the battlefield effects. Which there aren't in this set, not too many good ones. Anyway, yeah, it could be a Obsessive Skinner. It's kind of good in black-green or green-white or something like that. Really, it's going to be good in every deck. Now, I could also take a Bloodseeker and hope one of these vampires wheels. People are interested in, a lot of the other cards here. And it's just a good madness enabler anyway. I'm going to start with the Bloodseeker. 2-drops are so important, and most of the 2-drops are uncommon. So it's pretty good to take one first. Here, we could take another one, but the pick is almost clearly Fiery Temper. It works so well with the Bloodseeker, and having 2 out is fine, but one should do the trick most games. And the reason to pick a card like this up is the madness. So definitely want this. Another one to look at for wheeling would be Sanitarium Skeleton. And yeah, there's a couple black cards here, or even blue. Blue-red madness is a real thing as well. Okay, what do we get? Yeah, not much here. The wolf is okay. There's a Moonlight Hunt, if we did go into more of a werewolf deck. And a Sanitarium Skeleton, which could be good in the Madness deck itself. Now, I don't love the Hellpack Wolf in the Vampire deck. I mean, the Vampire deck is aggressive. It's not particularly good with this, but Stitched Mangler is a perfectly acceptable card. I think it's a bit better than the Hellpack Wolf, even though it's off color. So I guess the close picks here are Moonlight Hunt, Stitched Mangler, and Hellpack Wolf. And I'll go with the Mangler. Here's a nice one. Dance with Devils. It's a little bit better in a blue deck, a little slower deck than maybe the fast Vampire Madness deck. Inner Struggle is fine, but it's not quite as good as Dance with Devils, which is just great. Wouldn't mind seeing Just the Wind or Jace's Scrutiny come back. Both are pretty good. Here, Byway Courier's not bad. Ghostly Wings usually works pretty well in a deck like this. There's also a random Sanguinary Mage. Now, it does look like we have a bunch of spells. Ghostly Wings is fine, but I don't think it's a priority. We could also look at Giss's Bidding, because we'll have some madness outlets. This is interesting choices here. This card is good. I mean, turn 3, playing 2/2/2s, if you have some madness card like that, that's strong. Spiteful Motives and Sanguinary Mage are also... Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take Giss's Bidding because it's kind of like the payoff card out of what we have so far. Hey, Angel of Deliverance. It's funny, blue seems to be drying up a bit. But yeah, I'm not going to spring for this 8-drop white spell when we're trying to be a little more aggressive than that. But I will take this Twins. A bit later in a pack, I wouldn't be too sad with the Sanguinary Mage or the Senseless Rage, which sets up a strong clock if you, especially if you get it out with a Madness or discard trigger. Anyway, yeah, I like the Twins. If that can come down early, it's incredible. So, well, I don't love Trail of Evidence. I do think Confront the Unknown is a strong one. There's also Sleep Paralysis, which is just the best card here, and some red removal / evasion stuff. But the solid card here, I'm not going to worry too much about the Stallion, it's going to be the Sleep Paralysis, in case we head back into that direction. Alright, now I'm going to look at the curve a bit. So these cards are pretty close, the Drown Yard Explorers and the Senseless Rage. It's just a matter of what deck we're trying to be in. It's a bit weak though. Both picks are not exciting to me. Pick the Brain is... that could be the pick. It's definitely a pick. You know, I'm going to take the Senseless Rage. Ooh, and the Insolent Neonate Wheels. Pretty happy about that. Yeah, I'll definitely take that. I mean, red is kind of our go-to color. We've got 3 pretty good cards in that, and this makes a 4th. Okay, so we could try to be a little strange with Rise from the Tides, but especially with cards like Sleep Paralysis, you don't always fill up your graveyard so quickly with spells. You really need something like a bunch of Fiery Tempers or really strong cards, so I'm going to take the Jace's Scrutiny here, which is always kind of solid. And yeah, if we were in green, I could take Fork, but we're in blue, so I'll take the Gone Missing. I can hide these for now, or put them over here anyway. Magnifying Glass. The Warped Landscape isn't super necessary. The Magnifying Glass could be good if we end up a bit slower, and blue sometimes has a clue theme. And the Ghostly Wings is back. Not a bad card for these colors. You know, if you really wanted to go deep, you could make some kind of spell deck and have a bunch of pieces of the puzzle and the Rise from the Tides. But that doesn't even seem that good to me, to be honest. Anyway, we'll just put that over there. Breakneck Rider. You don't have to be a werewolf deck to take advantage of this monster. He's really good. If that wasn't here, would probably take the Mangler. Yeah, pretty clear, but Breakneck Rider is so strong. Oftentimes you can just let him flip and your opponent can't do anything about it. So, if we really wanted to splash, we could take this Foreboding Ruins, but there's not much to splash. There is a nice black card here. And, yeah. Alright, so what am I looking at in this pack? Pour Over the Pages in blue. Ember Eye Wolf, which is not great for a second pick. Niblis of Dusk, which could be nice. And Murderous Compulsion. Yeah, I don't like to go back and forth too much, but Murderous Compulsion is stronger enough than these other guys that I'll go back into black for at least the time being to see if we can, you know, to see if that is the open color. Yeah, maybe it is. We've got 3 good cards in this aggressive red-black deck. The best has got to be this Sinister Concoction. The fact that we have a couple, well, all of the black cards we have are Madness. I'm going to put these by here. I mean, we only really had a couple good blue cards, but they're not even that good. So back to black we are. Magnifying Glass. Get out of there. Get out of there with that Magnifying Glass. Sinister Concoction. And yeah, the Duelist is great, the Witch is great, but the Concoction is a Madness enabler, and just, you know, just great removal. Alright. Pretty excited about our decision there to leave blue. Call the Bloodline is just so great. We're going to see it do great things this evening. Twins is fine. Bloodsworn, again, the 2-drop uncommon creatures in their archetypes are just exactly what you want. 2 is kind of that sweet spot. Hey, here we go. We gave up on, well, here's another kind of guy in our 2-drop slot. I might actually take that. We do have Sinister Concoction, which helps out with Delirium, and just discarding stuff, sorceries, instants. I could take that, or I could take Sanitarium Skeleton. The thing is, people don't usually want more than one skeleton, so the uncommon card is just so much better. That's close. Yeah, we're going to have enough madness that we don't need to discard Sanitarium Skeleton all the time. I'm going to take the uncommon, and maybe we get another Sanitarium Skeleton, but I'm not too excited by that here. What I am excited about, I was about to say a card in this pack, but that's just not true. None of these are too exciting. All my creatures, I want them to be vampires if possible, or at least a creature with madness. The Ghoul Caller's Accomplice is not terrible. Maybe we take the Revenant here, because it's hard to play against, if nothing else. Alright, I do like a Censor. I've never played it in an aggressive black-red deck, but I don't see why it wouldn't be good. Maybe because it doesn't have as many humans. Yeah, I could see that being a drawback. We've got one human half the time. You know, I'm just going to go for the Vampire Noble here. Keeps people out of our business. Forsaken Sanctuary. Who knows, maybe we open Avacyn and try to play her at the cost of our chances of winning. Niblis. Skeleton Key. This would only be good if we picked up the Sanitarium Skeleton. I can only assume because they both have skeleton in the name. But we don't have one of those yet. Vessel, Snapper. Yeah, whatever. Spectral Shepherd. That's a really late Shepherd. I mean, this is already a Wind Drake, but it blinks itself and any other creature. Yeah, I'll let someone have their fun. I'm going to take Structural Distortion for the sideboard, even though you'd rarely bring it in. Just want people to stay out of our colors. Pick the Brain. This card is not as bad as it might look. I mean, definitely play it. Wow, we opened 2 of these invocations. If only they were good and in our colors. Actually, the Fleeting Memories and the Researcher are quite nice. That ship has sailed, so we can take another Murderous Compulsion and be the most defensive black-red deck there ever was. Sounds good to me. You know, it's a little better to go late with black-red when you have an engine like Call the Bloodline. Whoa. Oh no. Alright, now we have to count our vampires. And we can count this little enchantment as a vampire. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, that's not enough to justify a Stensia Masquerade, even though this card is the best in black-red vampires. Instead, I'll take Avacyn's Judgment, which is just a fireball. It might even be the right pick if we were heavy vampires, and there is a small chance that one of these 2 red cards wheels. We'd be happy with either of them. But yeah, Madness Vampire. Divided as you choose. Wow, this is it's pretty good. We have 2 free ways to activate discard, or maybe just 1, but also 2 very cheap ways. Wow, good stuff. I will take the Indulgent Aristocrat. I like the Dread Knight, but it is just kind of a luxury to play at the top of your curve, and you don't really need it most of the time. And sometimes it'll just be too late to affect things, whereas the Indulgent Aristocrat really is an engine. And it's a vampire to boot, so take a look at our curve again. Yeah, I could go back and forth on this. This is a bit of a more defensive card. We don't have the skeleton for the Aristocrat, but it also lets us sacrifice these little tokens and whatnot. I've been pretty happy with this type of effect, the Aristocrat. Yeah, I'm not sure about this pick actually, given our deck, but I'll stand by it. Get another twins here. Normally I wouldn't have hesitated so long. I would think the Aristocrat is just better in a, a deck like this, but like I said, we're actually kind of defensive, and that would have been a win condition. So maybe there's some more merit to it. Sure, Uncaged Fury, I don't mind cards that win games. Here, usually you'll get to choose between these two. The Duelist is just kind of better. I don't know. I like both of these cards, but a lot of the times you're just going to force some easy damage in through with the Duelist. But I'd be happy with both. Color, we want our colors to be pretty even. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, and they are. You don't have to worry too much about that. Okay. Ah, don't I look clever. We picked the Duelist, and now we get a Mentor anyway. Sometimes it just seems right to hedge your bets and pick one of each card. Since they're both good in different situations, it gives you more options. Let's say you have both in your hand, then technically you have more plays if you have 4 mana open and you can do either. It might be that one is strictly better, but you can't really argue that one is strictly better here because they do different things and have different stats and all that. But the Duelist is a little better in a faster deck with more creatures lower in the curve. Rush is fine. It's kind of the combo with Uncaged Fury. If you have these two, you're in good shape. Wicker Witch. We do have this one Delirium card randomly, so maybe that gets in there. The Apparatus and the Embry Wolf. We don't need any more 2-drop creatures, although Embry Wolf is not the worst, so I'll take the Apparatus. And another Fury. Flux is kind of a cool card. I do like this card a lot. 1 mana instant. And it does stuff. I mean, it could blink your Duelist, it could blink your Mangler, or better yet, any kind of spirit. Silent Observer. Yeah, so I like where we ended up. We must have been fighting a little bit for these colors, but we ended up with a pretty good looking deck here. It might even be a 16 land deck, because if we have enough discard outlets, these twins are 3-drops, and our highest drop is a is a 4-drop. And with Madness, all of our cards can be cast for less than that. Alright, so we're definitely not in blue, right? Yeah, our black is going to be better, our red's going to be better. Not in white. So 8/8 looks good to me. Maybe we play Apparatus over the Wicker Witch. But no, I don't like that. We kind of need creatures. It looks like we have few 13, but if you consider Call the Bloodline kind of like a creature, because it just makes creatures, and Gis's Bidding, or Gisa, I don't know how to say that, and Dance with the Devils. Now we're up to like 16, which is reasonable. And then tons of removal and combat tricks. So this doesn't look terrible to me. I'll do a 8/8 and call it a deck. So see you back for round 1 and with our little vampire red-black brew.